This is a 12-volt semi-truck parking air conditioner that I recently installed in this RV. Now there's a full video if you want to go back and check. I've got a short that walks through a real quick setup. I've got a shorter one of the setup, and then I've got a full 40-some minute video of the setup in this air conditioner. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised. So if you look at any of my other videos, this was also installed in my boat last summer, and it worked amazingly in my boat, and now it's working great in the RV. And it's currently running right now. We just got back a few days ago from a trip. So we're near Camp Lejeune, so let's say Jacksonville, North Carolina. We drove down to Jacksonville, Florida to see my son. And for two 6-hour legs straight and some other legs were after we stopped, this ran for 6 hours. And the biggest reason that I installed it is the driver and the passenger are great. They're fine with the cab air conditioning. The problem is it gets hot back here. The chassis heats up a lot. And for some reason it gets really, really hot. It'll get 85 plus degrees back here. And without running the generator, you can't run these rooftop ACs. So it gets pretty warm back here, unless you have a bus that has the window ones. But obviously most RVs don't have that if you don't have the bus. So I installed this and it worked perfectly. My fear was obviously that potentially the alternator would have a tough time running it, but this does have a pretty robust alternator. Maybe I'll do a test in the future on a different alternator, try to run it off my Durango, but right now it's running really well off of the stock alternator in this 2018 Thor A.C.E 30.2. So it's running just fine off of this Ford chassis alternator. And like I said, we had it running for 6 hours from here to Georgia. I think it's Georgia where we stopped at a Cracker Barrel, and then 6 more hours from Jacksonville, Florida, all the way up to where we stayed at south of the border. We stayed at the RV park there at that south of the border at the on I-95 at the North-South Carolina line. So it worked amazingly great. So right now, like I said, it's running off of the battery, and it's only dropped at about a degree in here. I've got the door open because whatever, I'm not really trying to do much, but it dropped at a degree. It was 78 when I came in here. It's in the mid to upper 80s outside, and it's doing really well. I turned the temperature down quite a bit, and I've got the fan turned up to 3, and I've got it on standard. So there's standard, eco, and then max. I haven't tried max, but I don't think I need to because I ran it on eco the whole time, and these coils, I think I've got it as low as 35 degrees. So it is 35, 34 and a half, 33, 32, 31 degrees come. So those coils back there are 31 degrees. So that's nice. So let's go up top and talk about the elephant in the room that in my other videos was the most controversial part. Now what's not controversial is that it is exceptionally quiet. Heck of a lot quieter than that one. And that one back there is just as loud. But this thing is quiet. It's also quieter inside than this Rec Pro. But this still, Rec Pro is a nice AC with heat pump. This one does not have a heat pump, unfortunately. And if you haven't been able to tell yet, or if you haven't jumped in the comments to yell at me and say this thing should not be mounted horizontally, I challenge you to find any documentation on these, the others that look just like this, that say you can't mount it like this. Because I looked and I can't find anything. And others have asked, hey, I noticed you mounted it like that. And others say, don't do it. How's it perform? Like I said, in my boat, the boat's over there, it was mounted on the seat at about a 30-degree angle, and it performed flawlessly last summer. And now on this trip at least, it's performed exceptionally well. And if you see there, I mounted it on, they're solar panel mounts. So just like the solar panel there, I got it mounted on the solar panel here, and it did great, just like this. It seemed to get plenty of air while we were going down the road. It did really well. And why I think it's fine mounted like this is because that's just an automotive. It's basically just an exact same compressor as in a car, just with an electric motor on the front. And those are installed in all kinds of different directions. And you've got the hoses coming from the top, and you got the hoses coming from the side and the back. So I don't see why it matters how the compressor is. And then also the condenser is usually just mounted in the front, obviously, so the liquid can travel to the bottom, or the gas can, can move vertically or whatever. But some people there are styles for vans that are designed to mount underneath the van. So under pressure, it seems to be doing just fine. So right now, it's doing great. And again, it was at a 30-degree angle over there, which is still enough for like fluid to flow. But under pressure and here, just fine. Now, where this does lack is it will not run on these batteries. Now, I don't know if you can see back there, but 2022, so these are 4-year-old deep cycle batteries. Clearly, the Walmart EverStarts. And the problem with these, aside from the fact that they've been 4 years old, is before I installed solar, these batteries have been dropped to zero way too many times to count. So I've discharged these batteries down to zero, or this RV has, rather, from a draw, probably 10 or 20 times. So that's not good for these batteries anyway. So I think that's also it. If you had brand new deep cycle batteries, it may perform a little bit better, but I still don't think these produce the voltage required to actually power that air conditioner. And also the length of run of these battery cables does not help that air conditioner either. Actually, in the very, very near future, I may upgrade this to maybe one 300 amp hour, 290 whatever amp hour. They've got some of those, or two 100 amp hour batteries. But I have tested this, and if you go back to my other videos, I have run this air conditioner on one single 100 amp hour LiFePO battery, and it did really well. So in the boat, it was 90 degrees when I came back one day, and I turned it on. The only problem is when you turn into max, it does draw just too much power for that battery. So it will give you, it's like the F2, I believe, is the F2 is the code. It'll beep, it'll turn off, it'll kick a code, and that code is just low voltage. So once you can turn the fan on to max, and you can turn the temperature down, and it'll cool really well, and it did just fine in the boat on a lithium-ion battery. And bringing the temperature down and then regulating lasted like 3.5 or 4 hours. I can't remember. It did pretty well. And then it was like 5 or 6 hours. Hopefully I'm not wrong. I'll try to drop the info down here, but it did well on just one. So, but you would need quite a bit of, I have 200 amps of solar on here. You'd need closer to 1,000 to at least recharge the batteries and let it kind of run. So when we have great sunlight right now, it's almost perfect for it. I did have this running on these batteries in the past with this, and it did a pretty good job. Or it ran for a while. It ran for about 10 minutes. But now it won't. I think this thing has, we've pulled the last juice out of the battery, so they just need to be upgraded. So I'm going to show you one more thing, and that is whether or not this air conditioner will run with this one on the converter for shore power. So I'm going to do that with the generator. So I'm going to fire up the generator, turn this off, turn off the engine, fire up the generator, and let's see how it performs. All right, we just switched over to shore power, so the generator's on. Now I'm going to turn on our Rec Pro. So set at 70 degrees. We'll let that one turn on. So that one's on and running. Just to show you, engine is off. There are 0 RPMs there. So we're not getting any assistance from the alternator. The Rec Pro's starting to get cold, and now I'm going to turn on this FGO to go. Kicked on. All right, now both of these are running at the same time on this generator. I think this is a 5 kilowatt Onan generator with 2,700 hours on it. So it's got some use. You know, my fear was that the inverter could have a problem running so many extra 12 volt stuff. So I was afraid of that, but it seems to have held up pretty good. Obviously not running, you're not going to run the furnace, but we have run the water heater. Doesn't take a lot of energy. We also run that mostly on 110. So it's done a pretty good job. The price of this, I've talked about it before, and obviously it fluctuates. So for the last video I made on this, or talked about this, it was actually, just missed a sale. It was on sale at Walmart. So I'll drop the link to the Walmart one here, but it was on sale for $250. That sale lasted a week, and then it was just the last few weeks, it was just on sale for a couple more weeks at $250. It's closer to $400 again, so it goes from like $399 down to $400. There's a lot of similar ones like this. Some of them go up to $2,500 for what looks like the exact same Chinese 12-volt air conditioner. The problem with the others, not necessarily the ones on Walmart.com, but if you might find some for $250 or $300 on Amazon, but I haven't seen one under $500 or $600 that doesn't have, down at the bottom, if you've got Prime, a delivery fee. So the delivery fee will bring it up to the $400, $450 range for just about all of them. So you're looking at $400 right now, but if you wait, it'll probably drop that back down to $250. It's 12-volt semi-truck parking air conditioner that I've already installed in a boat and now in an RV in a very unconventional manner, mounted horizontally, may I add, on the roof. And you saw the numbers on the thermometer. It was 31 degrees. So it is pushing out plenty of cold air. And I encourage you, if you want to look at the installation, how I did it, others who have gotten, and I've been reached, CountryMod Pro and others have reached out about installing ACs. And I talk about it in the installation video, but you can install one there. The only problem is, and I saw someone else who got a sample in it and he did it as well. And then he went back and they talked about it, but they really still didn't show how to wire it because you need pretty hefty gauge wiring. This thing came with 8 gauge wire, I think. And it worked in the boat because I used a very short directly to the battery and the inverter converter to run it off of 12 volts. But the wire did get hot. Now I have 4 gauge wire running from the roof, from the roof unit into the hole here, down this wall, and then underneath the refrigerator where the 4 gauge wire comes in from the battery to the inverter for the RV. And the only thing that this inverter runs is the refrigerator. I conducted some bus bars next to that inverter, and it's running off of those wires. And just feeling it on top and down here, the wiring has not gotten hot, so it has not overheated or has not stressed those wires. So that is a big thing for the installation of these. But installing it up here, I would have had to tunnel through the foam, avoid the AC duct, and somehow get down into this wall and tunnel through this wall and find a way to get it down to the battery. That is a major hurdle of any air conditioner you're going to install, any 12-volt air conditioner you're going to install in an RV like this that's not already wired with heavy-duty wire coming to the RV. The only other thing I thought is, if you look at my other video, my boat video, I ran it off of, in the video I tested it with the battery, I ran it off of about a 12 or 1,000 watt 12-volt converter. So it converted 120 to 12 volts. And that's how it ran in my boat. The majority of the time, the battery was there for backup. Since that has 110 volts, you could put one of those converters up there and run it from a converter, but that would obviously, then you wouldn't be running it off 12 volts. The wiring is a problem. Overall, I give this thing 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason I'm not giving another one is because I want to test it on lithium. So I may buy lithium this month. I would like to buy lithium. So if I have enough money and I can get lithium, I'm going to buy lithium, put it in here, and then we'll see, without the engine running, with this thing just on, how long will the lithium run? I don't know. And what I might also do is turn on the inverter and run the fridge and the air conditioner on lithium and see how long this thing would last on lithium. It would be at least 200, potentially up to 300 amp hours. I think this thing would run 12 hours. I think you can go all night with this thing and you'd be good. So you could get the temperature down in here until you had to adjust it. And maybe we'll camp out in the backyard, give it a shot. But I got a bunch of other work that this RV needs done. I just installed this new kitchen. I've got to fix the countertop a little bit, put some epoxy on it, and our slide's messed up. So the work continues. But thanks, guys. Hopefully just giving you this update, showing you how well it worked on this RV alternator. So if you've got an F5, so this is a Triton V10, so I think the V8, the F35 chassis is what this one is called. That alternator that runs these Ford V8s, V10s will run this thing just fine. So if you've got a truck or a chassis like this, you're gonna be good. You could probably pull it right off the alternator. Like I said, alternator runs the batteries. Batteries run down here, and that's where I have it hooked in, and it's working great. So far, so good. Hopefully the alternator holds up. Hopefully the inverter holds up. Knock on wood. Where's It's nothing, just real wood in here. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if I missed anything. Let me know if you have any other questions. Hopefully I can get back soon with a lithium test. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. It's where is it? I don't even know what it does. Hit the bell, and we'll catch you on the next one.